This channeling is from November the 13th, 2010, and was referenced in the Daily Quote for October the 26th, 2021. Question from the group. The question this evening has to do with a feeling that so many of us have when we wonder if we're doing what we came to do in the spiritual sense in this incarnation. Quote, could you speak to us about that type of wondering and just what the spiritual significance is of the question of whether or not you're doing what you came to do? Carla channeling. We are those known to you as the principle of Quo. Indeed, because of the song played to help tune the group this evening, we would introduce ourselves as those who are part of the confederation of angels and planets in the service of the one infinite Creator. We greet you in the love and in the light of the one infinite Creator, in whose service we come to you this evening. Thank you for calling us to your group. Thank you for taking the time out of your hectic lives to seek the truth. It is our privilege to speak to you this evening concerning the wonderings that you have about the purpose of your life. But before we move into spiritually based discussion, we would ask a favor of you, and that is for you to use your discrimination and powers of discernment as you listen to or read these words. Use what resonates to you, and please, if our thoughts do not resonate, then leave them behind and keep seeking. Keep searching for that resonance that means that you have found material that will excite and engage you. If you will monitor your responses to that which we say, and take only those things that resonate, we shall be grateful, for it will allow us to be sure that we cannot infringe upon your free will or disturb the pattern of your seeking. We thank you for this favor. Each of you planned this incarnation carefully. Certainly there are those that, at the beginning of the cycles of third density, who incarnate automatically. They have not polarized enough to take over the decision-making when it comes to how the incarnation should go. What relationships it should contain, upon what the lessons should be focused, and so forth. However, as the one known as L has pointed out so accurately, this is not the beginning of third density, but its very end. Boot camp is hard, but it's drawing to a close. Third density light is waning. You are experiencing not only the sunset, but shall we say, the gloaming, the indigo twilight time of third density light. And as it sets, fourth density light dawns. And it is those fourth density energies that create the feeling of the clarity of the catalyst that you are experiencing now. It may not seem that it is a great advantage to be so aware of catalyst and so able to see through it, and yet you may count it as a great resource, for it enables you to know that you are not fooling yourself. You are not dreaming. You are on task and on your job, whether it feels as if you are or not. Indeed, my friends, you cannot help but be about your business because you have carefully set your life up so that the issues which you the issues which you felt would help you to balance the energies of love, wisdom, and power would be with you throughout the incarnation. It is not a punishment to have lessons repeat. They do not truly repeat, for you are spiraling ever onward and upward in your learning, and when the lessons come to you again, you are in a different place. You have peeled away a layer or two of the onion skin of personality and culturation and mindlessness, and you meet the repeating catalyst from a new perspective every time. Never think that there is a judgmental creator behind the difficulties of your life. Know that the patterns of difficulty in your life are gifts. They may seem hard to open. They may not feel blessed, but they are. They are precious. We have often talked about this life in third density, and indeed life in general for those of us in other densities as well, is taking place in a refining oven. When this instrument tunes, she begins with a song she learned as a child. The words go, "Temper my spirit, O Lord. Keep it long in the fire. Make it one with the flame. Let it share that up-reaching desire. Cast it thyself, O my God. Swing it straighter and higher. Temper my spirit, O Lord. Temper my spirit. The poet who wrote that knew about the refining fire of the catalyst of a life lived consciously. The Athanor of earth works because you cannot see through the veil completely. You cannot know the larger picture. You cannot think your way into grasping why you chose the catalyst you chose and why you chose the patterns of important relationships and solitude and all the issues of your life as you chose them. And perhaps it is only a shortcut to tell you that it was well planned and that you can trust yourself and your higher self as the planners of the incarnation you are now experiencing. In a way, my friends, it is a shortcut. In another way, it is the only way to move forward with spiritual questions. If you analyze spiritual questions, such as the purpose of your life, beyond a certain point, you're attempting to build a stairway to heaven made of facts and inferences, logical deductions, and analysis. Yet life bursts the bounds of logic and analysis. Life is a mystery and often seems to descend into various chaoses. There are dark nights of the soul between the daylights of epiphany and transformation. Only in moments of clarity that are gifts from Spirit can one know beyond all telling that all is truly well. The vagaries of life in third density are imponderable and impossible to predict. It may be obvious to you what the purpose of your life is, spiritually speaking. It may not. This instrument, for instance, is one of those who is content to gaze upon her path of service. She is one who has no wish to do anything differently or otherwise. However, catalyst arrives for this instrument when she is not able to do the work that she feels that she should be doing. This last year has been a constant epiphany to her in that almost never has she felt that she was able to work with the excellence which she demands of herself. For others, there is not even the comfort of feeling that one knows what one's true service to others is. One can deduce one's incarnational lessons from the themes that repeat, but one cannot deduce what one's true service is. The ways of spirit are too intricately bound up in the rhythms of your life, the life of the planetary population and the changing needs of the tribe of humanity. Now let us look for a moment at the nature of spiritual service. One's first choice in adopting a way of living, a rule of life, as this instrument would call it. Shall you dedicate yourself to serving others? Or shall you dedicate yourself to serving yourself, looking after your own interests, amassing money and power and influence? If your interest in amassing power is limited to the power you have over yourself, that is, if your interest is in self-discipline, then you are firmly set on the service to others path. If you have interest in manipulating others to make things better or more comfortable for yourself, then unless you wish to be upon the service to self path, it is time to evaluate anew how you wish to spend your energy. For you have so few moments in an incarnation. They are precious, my friends. You are in the Athanor of life to burn away the slag and the dross and to find the gems and the gold that are within you. We assure you that you are precious, full of gems and full of gold. But as in the world of nature, the treasure is hidden beneath the soil of living. There are some who enjoy digging for those nuggets of gold and precious gems. There are those who are content to come across them in the process of dealing with catalysts. Either way is satisfactory, for both lead to those moments when you know why you are in the furnace and what is being burned away. We would offer you the suggestion that it matters not whether or not you feel you are doing the appropriate thing to be of service to humanity. You are being of service. You cannot help but be of service by the way you vibrate, by the frequency that you hold. If your heart is only open, as the one known as El said, she tries to do every day, the planetary heart is that much further open. What you do changes the world. What Spirit does within you transforms the globe. Never fear that you have somehow been left out of that wonderful feeling of having a purpose and being about the Creator's business on this earth. For you are the Creator's eyes of love. You are the Creator's hands of love. You are the Creator's words of love. You are the Creator's thoughts of love. We would suggest to you that the very first job of all of you, because you are human, because you are part of third density Earth, is to hold the frequency of love and allow a space for it to flow through you. My friends, do not attempt to love from your yellow ray energy center. Do not use your will to bring forth your human love. Use that precious commodity of will and desire to allow the Creator's love to flow through you. Unlike your surface emotions, the Creator's love is not limited. It is infinite, and it is already flowing through you. Consequently, you have only to hold the frequency of love. Hold your heart open, let your mind and your emotions be at peace, and feel the love flow through you and out into the world. As you feel the love flowing through you, bless it. Set your intention to serve, and you shall serve beyond your wildest dreams. We speak here of the inner purpose of living, not the outer work, but the inner work. It is the most valuable. It makes the most difference, and it never shows. In fact, the only way it shows is that when you are loving, love flows back to you from the most unexpected sources, 10-fold, 100-fold, and 1,000-fold. Love is reflected in love. Similarly, worry and doubt are reflected in worry and doubt. What you think about makes a great deal of difference. How you think about what you think about makes a difference. If, for instance, you are attempting to analyze your situation, as long as you are doing it fearlessly, probing the mystery and looking for clues, you are an explorer. You are gaining intelligence about your situation, and there is no untoward effect from that. Yet, if you are thinking over and over again about the same thing without finding an answer, without finding comfort, then you may be sure that you are placing your mind in a precinct of fear. And if you live in fear, you shall draw to you what you fear. Resisting what is occurring at the moment is an exercise in fear. This instrument was speaking earlier of not being content for hours with a certain situation and finally realizing that she did not need to carry this load. She then claimed by faith that all was well and felt the load slide off of her back, off of the wagon that she was pulling of. This and that. There is a reason to know and claim that all is well. It is a simple reason. The Creator is love. You are part of the Creator, and you are a part of that love. Every humble task that you accomplish is also a spiritually vivid and living task. There is nothing so humble that it does not sing of the beauty of the Creator. The ways of spirit are not the ways of humans. There is no measure for service. All services are equal. If you clean the bathroom with love in your heart, it is as much a service as if you heal or channel or teach with love in your heart. And indeed, if one who teaches or heals does not have love in her heart, you who clean the bathroom are serving more efficiently, more efficaciously, and to a higher degree of beauty. Think of yourself as one who appreciates beauty, and appreciate it in yourself. Your desire to serve is a beautiful thing, to be nurtured and encouraged, respected and supported by you, whether or not another soul appreciates or supports you in your hopes and your dreams of service. Life's experiences are often startling. A woman plans to take on the world and then discovers she is pregnant, and her world takes a complete turn into another neighborhood. The structure of her life completely alters because her world now contains the sacred honor duty of nurturing life and being a parent. And suddenly service to others is nursing a baby and changing its diapers. A man may feel that he is on fire with a love of music and may achieve preeminence in his field and suddenly discover, after many years of being sure that his nature is to be a performer, that mechanical problems cause him to be unable to play any longer. Where is his service? Where is his purpose? It is important, therefore, to begin with the knowledge that faith alone can give the assurance that all is well and all shall be well, so that when your life takes a turn and seems out of control, you know that your purpose and your service endure and are as close to you as your breathing. You cannot fail to be of service if you set your intention to do so. You can only fail to appreciate your efforts. We encourage you to appreciate your own efforts, to respect your own intentions, even when they do not seem to result in the service that you thought was yours. For all things are of service to one who loves. You may have no idea what the effect is that you have on those around you. You may have no notion of how you change people's lives because you smiled on the street with a smile full of joy and lightness of heart on a day when there was no light for that person, on a day when that person felt invisible. You do not know what you do, but you do not need to know what you do if you only focus on service and the simplest things, keeping your heart open, keeping yourself tuned. When you notice that you are not in a positive and vivifying emotional state, ask for help. There is an abundance of help. You've heard about calling all angels in your message before the meditation tonight in the song. Call them and thank them and ask them to help and heal, for they live to be asked and they love to work with you. Call your higher self and your guidance system and collect them about you and ask them to help and thank them for helping. Find out what changes your frequency and then apply that knowledge. The one known as Elle spoke earlier of discovering that singing stabilizes her emotionally, and so she sings. Find out what stabilizes your emotions. What is the balm of Gilead for you? And when you find something helpful, use it. The greatest enemy of service is that detachment that comes from constant discouragement, that weariness of soul and emotions that causes you to think, what's the use? What does it all mean? When you wonder what it means, turn to those things that comfort and heal you. And we would have some suggestions there, for there are some sturdy friends that you have, not just in spirit, but in the world around you. Your greatest companion, the one who loves you without stint, lies directly out your window. Mother Earth, the world of nature, first and second density, loves you without stint and knows no other way to be. For first and second density are not behind the veil as you are. They are aware of the Creator and the oneness of all things, and they dance with all things, including you. When there is despair and discouragement lurking within you, take it to Mother Earth. Take it to your tree or your planting, or hike along trails that have no artifacts of man to disturb the energy, and cast yourself upon the bosom of Mother Earth. She can take all the negativity that you feel, and she can heal it by her sanity and her perspective. There is a wonderful companion that you have that enables you to find a higher perspective, and that is your sense of humor. It is not that we discourage serious thinking. All things are useful in moderation, but the heaviness and the seriousness of spiritual thoughts need to be tempered with the yeast of laughter. There are always humorous aspects to the darkest picture. If you doubt that, set yourself to describing your situation as if it were a cartoon and your job was to find a caption. Make yourself laugh. Enjoy your own company and seek out laughter when you are beyond yourself. Watch a comedy. Share a joke with a friend or tell it to yourself. Then take that step back from utter immersion in what you are thinking. That gives you that life-saving distance, that penchant for joy. Another great companion that you have within the veil is your appreciation for beauty. Beauty is all around you, in people, in architecture, music, dance, in the world of nature. Let yourself be moved and touched. And when you feel that beauty within you, celebrate it, enjoy it, and let yourself feel the joy of loveliness. Indeed, to do this, it is necessary often to empty oneself of what the one known as R calls pride or dignity. It is all right to be undignified. It is wonderful to be spontaneous. It is not always appreciated by others, but there is a tremendous balance in being able to laugh, to love, to appreciate. Let these energies move through you, and they also will tend to stabilize your emotions. It may seem to you that we are all telling you to make yourself behave in certain ways, and perhaps that is how it comes out on the surface. What we are attempting to do is open the pathways of spirit within you. For there are dead energies and there are live energies. Those energies that contract in fear are dead. Nothing can grow except worry. Yet to one who is able to accept precisely what is occurring, the pathways of spirit are open, and joy and gratitude flow like water and bubble like champagne. Lastly, we would address the concept of outer service. You did, indeed, come into your incarnation with your intention set to serve in an outer sense. However, what throws off the thinking of most spiritual seekers in this area is the fact that many entities wish to do no outer service that is obvious. In other words, the energies that have to do with teaching vast numbers of students and raising a child are one and the same. It does not matter whether your attention is lavished upon one child or the children that are of your family, or whether you are a teacher to many. You are being of precisely the same service in either case. The one known as R speaks often of wishing to be of service in a way that satisfies his great desire to fulfill that service that must be out there. Yet already, to many, including the non-profit foundation of which this instrument is a part, he is the salvation for all things technical, causing the bulky, ornery technical devices absolutely necessary for the work of the organization to be able to function. Without the one known as R, many things would grind to a halt. Computers would act up and you would scratch your heads and wonder what was wrong. The skills of the one known as R cause the computers to behave and do the job they were intended to do. The question is, how can one feel that one is of service if one is not doing that which is perceived as being of service? And this we cannot answer. Know, therefore, that you do have outer tasks that only you can do and that you gravitate naturally towards them and cannot be kept from them. But know also that these do not often look like service to your culture. It is a rare entity within the Athanor of life on planet Earth who has this instrument's experience of doing something like the channeling from which she gains great satisfaction, and knowing that others perceive her as one who is of service. For the most part, service is an intimate thing, close to the heart and not easily perceived by others straight away. Yet when a service to others' entity is mentioned, smiles break out from all who know that person, for there is a loveliness to that person's company, and a rest and a healing in their presence. And whether or not what they do in the outer sense seems to be a direct line of service, it is indeed the service that they came to do. You are doing what you came to do, and if it changes tomorrow, you will still be doing what you came to do. Trust that the way your incarnation works is that you set your intention to serve, and the more strongly that you are able to set that intention, the more help you will attract. The more synchronicities will confirm to you that you are on the right track. The more feedback you will get from the creation around you. Give yourself over to this interactive, unified process, and lay your weary burdens down in thanksgiving and joy, for you are serving and serving beautifully, and with utter perfection, right now and always. We would ask at this time if there is another query in this circle. We are those of Quo. R. Quo, I had one question on this topic. Earlier you mentioned not to attempt to serve from the Yellow Ray Center, and I did not understand the context. Would you say it in a different way? We are those of Quo, and are aware of your query, my brother. When we speak of loving from the Yellow Ray Energy Center, we are speaking of willing oneself to love. The emotions that you are given with your physical body are finite. They can be exhausted, and we do not encourage the attempt to love and to serve from the Yellow Ray. Let us give you an example, my brother. Say that a healer wishes to heal another who is ill, and the healer has a good deal of personal power, a real gift for healing. The healer can do one of two things. It can work from the Yellow Ray, or it can work from the Green Ray. If it works from the Yellow Ray, it has not engaged the open heart. It has not ascended to the gateway of intelligent infinity to ask for help from Spirit. There is simply the decision that that person needs healing, and it's going to be done. And so the healer engages with the one to be healed and perhaps touches that patient, and perhaps is even able to reduce or eliminate pain for a given period of time. But the energy of human intent without Spirit's aid becomes exhausted after an hour or a day. The comfort that was desired to be given is given, but then it is taken away because the energy is exhausted. Now, the one who heals from the green ray empties the self of all but the intent to act as an instrument for the infinite love and light of the one Creator, and it allows itself to be used as an instrument of healing by Spirit, which moves through that precious nexus that you represent, that place where infinite energies can come into a finite world. That energy is intelligent. It knows where it needs to go and how it needs to work. There is no need for thought. There is no need for effort. There is only the need to offer oneself as an instrument. Then infinite energy flows through which is never exhausted. It is the same way, my brother, with love itself. You can school your behavior to imitate loving others, but you cannot force yourself to love others or you become exhausted. However, if you open your heart against all odds sometimes, against the resistance of the surrounding ambiance, and simply rest in the open heart, love can flow through you on a continuing basis. Then your job simply becomes the reopening of a closed heart. And a heart can close in a heartbeat, shall we say, because there is fear, because there is danger, because there is destruction, because of so many things. Whether the problems are with yourself, with others, with your job, with something that irritates you, with something that causes you pain, with suffering that you've had to endure, there are as many ways to close the heart as there are emotions in the human breast. And there are as many ways to open it again as the remembering consciousness can find. But it is not necessary to will the self to be so-and-so, such and such. It is necessary only to intend to keep the heart open and serve, and hold, above all, that frequency of the infinite love and light of the one Creator. May we explain further, my brother. We are those of Quo. R. One other follow-up question, Quo. I'm really touched by what you said, and this question is somewhat close to the boundary of free will, but I want to ask, if one intends to keep their heart open, then is it usual for spiritual seekers, or anyone perhaps, to then sense or feel, or if there's some sort of inner knowing that one is actually doing it, and then the heart is open? I guess I'm asking about either a physical sensation or an inner knowing that one is walking on this path. We are those of Quo, and are aware of your query, my brother. In a way, what we are suggesting is a great deal like forming a habit. This instrument has read in articles about such things that a habit takes about 3 weeks to make, or perhaps 3 weeks to break. Those 3 weeks seem to be spent in failing to break the habit, wanting not to break the habit, yearning to go back to the old habit, and so forth. Yet, if there is the intention set to break the habit, and there is a success in refraining from the behavior of the habit, gradually the mind becomes free to think of other things than the habit. The addiction has been downgraded, as the one known as Ken would say, to a preference. And then the mind is free to take up a positive habit, where before there was a habit of which you did not approve. We are not saying that this habit of setting the intention and then allowing peace to overcome one takes 3 weeks to make, but what we are saying is that it is, to the patient and determined seeker, that the rhythm of life will be given time to work. You see, where you put your energy, where you put your mind, is vitally central to your experience. If you begin with an act of faith and say, I think life is this way and I'm going to live as if it were this way, then you cast yourself into the midair of faith, having no proof of anything but the simple feeling, the knowing that all is truly well, and that the universe does make sense. It is not meaningless, and you are not alone. You are loved, you are needed, you are full of purpose, and you simply need to let go of any preconceived notions as to how that works and simply engage in life to the best of your ability as a conscious seeker that understands the power of choice, the power of desire, the power of intention. The universe will begin to perceive you as joining the dance. You will begin to get synchronicities back, You will see repeating numbers. You will see your totem animal. You will see the signs that what you were thinking is important and that what you were thinking just now is especially important. So ponder it. The universe will begin to help you. You will feel that feedback. And the more you lean into that, the more you will receive it. So that eventually, when someone says, well, why do you believe the way you do? You have almost no ability to explain. Because you are an old, experienced hand at working with the game of life now. You understand about choices. You understand about love. You understand about the hall of mirrors in which all things speak to you. People, situations, and things. And you are comfortable at last in this game and enthusiastic to play it. It is not that you have become one who controls your life. It is that you have become one who enjoys the surprise of life and who knows that even in the darkest hour there is light and love aplenty for one whose mind is stayed upon the truth of love. Each time your heart beats and sends the blood through your veins, it beats in love. Love is the essence of your being at all levels. Love is the health of your body, the strength of your spirit, the deepener of your emotions. Seek to love and remember to allow yourself to be loved in return. No push, no pull, but a resting, a contemplation of beauty and a devotion, a thirst and hunger for the Creator's presence in your life. And my brother, you will make that habit and you will feel comfortable inside your skin at last. Ask for help. You know we are there, and you know many others are there as well. We find that this instrument and this group becomes weary, and so we would leave this instrument and this group in the love and the light of the one Creator. We thank you once more for the privilege and the pleasure of sharing our thoughts with you. Adonai, my friends. Adonai Vasu Baragus.